Hello everyone, and welcome to the show.
If you should awaken, I will be there when you wake from your lovely
Welcome back. Thank you for being here. We have a very special show today. What we're going to do is finish the entire chapters on the PHAROH Horus. But before I get into that, I'd like to talk about something. I like to kind of keep up with certain things in current media. And I was watching a television show the other day. It was called College Hill, where they have these individual celebrities going back to school. People like Ray J and Tiffany. Anyway, I was very touched and bothered by the mindset of one of the young ladies there. Her name is Amber. I believe it's Amber Rose. I don't know much about her, but I do know about emotional trauma when it comes to religious systems. And she told someone that she was atheist. One of the goals of this program here, my number one goal, the first thing I'm going to do is put an end to the whole concept of atheism. Eventually, I will have experts on the subject come and debate me, and I'm sure within 5 minutes I could talk them out of that whole mindset if they are indeed logical people. They are very intelligent because you have to be intelligent to decide to disagree with the Bible. You have to know what you're talking about. But the problem here is when you have that belief system, when you have that mindset and that narrative, you tend to isolate yourself. I could not imagine what it would feel like if you were disconnected from the source conscious. Me as a spiritualist, I'm connected to mine, and I know what kind of peace and what kind of it is the only reason to live. The only reason to live. Without that, this system would have absolutely no purpose whatsoever. It wouldn't be worth being here. What the purpose for being here, and I'll have to keep repeating this because this is something that we're going to have to understand, is in the beginning, God wanted to find out what it was like to exist in a multitude of different ways, through a multitude of different biological units, from the very small to the very large. And only way he could do that is to give them their own free will while his spirit is a part. His spirit is what makes up their spirit. And so basically, God, the creator, is within everybody. And so it is experiencing life. In the case of Amber Rose, her spirit is of God. However, her mindset is of her own, and there's a disconnect here. When I say I'm going to end atheism, I think the simple truth of the matter is their argument is against the biblical gods and the biblical narrative. You cannot argue against the existence of the universe. So when I talk about the creator, I'm talking about the creator of the universe. You cannot deny that. You just have to come up with a name board. You might want to call it something else. I'll tell an atheist, call it whatever you want. We're talking about that thing that you can see, that you can feel, that you know is there. So you cannot deny it's not there. You cannot deny, you can't say it's not here, not if you're being realistic. So what we're calling the creator is that which is there, which you can see. The Thomas Webb telescope, for instance, is sending back data that is blowing science away. Come to find out that God and Mother Nature are still creating universes and galaxies. It has never stopped. There are new ones being formed all the time, and that's because the purpose of the creators, as he raises the level of spirituality of people, their substantiality gets greater and they become something greater, and ultimately all the spirits, once they reach a certain level, I can't tell you exactly what they're going to turn into at that particular point. I think they're going to come back and help other people. But when they're through with all that, once their spirit becomes to vibrate too powerfully, it turns into something else. Perhaps even a star, for instance. I remember the first movie with the computer, HAL 1000. And they had these monoliths. The monoliths represent spirits, and they're approaching a planet. And once it got full, it burst into a star. That might be true. 2001 is what the movie was called. But anyway, the thing about Amber Rose is that her disconnect from spirituality could cause you to feel like you don't. That connection to the source is what gives you purpose, like I said. So I'll probably never meet her, but if anybody sees her, tell her, please listen to my show, because I feel the same way that you do about the biblical gods. I get attacked all the time because what I'm trying to do, obviously because of the clothes I wear, I'm trying to appeal to a certain ethnic group. When my book was first finished, I celebrated by going to the Diana Ross concert at the Hollywood Bowl. The reason I want to see Diana Ross because I remember the day I got my driver's license when I was 16, I went to see Diana Ross at the amphitheater, my first date with the wonderful and the beautiful Yolanda Howard of Pasadena. And we went, and I said, what a magnificent thing it would be to go see Diana again at the birth of my book, 50-something years later. And let me tell you, Diana was better this time than she was 50 years ago. That was amazing. But I sat down, next to me there was a non-black person. And we started talking about what we did, and I told her I was celebrating my book release, and she asked me what my book was about. And I told her, well, I rewrote the Old Testament. That's the thing I say to get people's attention. And she said, okay, so what makes your book different? And I said that, well, number one, the Egyptians didn't build those pyramids and we weren't created by God. She said, oh, that's what they talk about all the time on the History Channel. I'm like, okay. So what I'm trying to say is there are groups of ethnicities that have gone past it. They already know this. But we are going to be the last bastion of people who are going to accept it, and they're going to be telling me how fast I'm going to hell until they can't even say it anymore. It's because we happen to be stuck in a system. I don't know why, but we're just built a certain kind of way to accept things. I keep hearing this whole thing about the King James Version of the Bible is the Word of God. Well, King James, first of all, was the king of Scotland when he was 3 years old. And in Scotland, they were Roman Catholic. Well, his mother got into an entanglement and ended up with an Englishman, and basically he became heir to the throne of England. So why he was King James the Sixth, because he was already King James the Fifth of Scotland. Now, in order for him to become King of England, who were Protestant. Protestant were people who were formerly Catholic, but Martin Luther came in and changed that whole system, and now they are Protestant with a completely different outlook on religion. They didn't have popes, for instance. The whole pope thing was gone. Now, what King James had to do in order to be the King of England, he had to compromise his religion. He wasn't going to go back on Catholicism completely, and he wasn't going to adopt Protestant. So what he did, he set up a council with half Protestants and half Catholics there's like 47 of them, to decide what was going into a brand new canon, which would be called the King James Bible. And so what they did was they took out the Pope and they took out the King of England. So basically the Bible represented all the things. It was a compromise. It was a political compromise so James could become king. And then the slave trade started. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, the point of it being the Word of God, God is creating universes, not publishing books. It's a man thing. He's creating things that are unbelievable. He's not in church. It's the kind of thing where everybody believes that their God is the only God, and that bothers me. If I feel God was just representing me and I was the only one going to heaven, I would say, whoa, me and God need to have a meeting, because I love people and I care about people. Religion can become so uncaring of people that they become the only thing that matters because they believe that God said that. But they just have to understand who God is. Atheists need to understand that they are right in being in opposition of the biblical gods. You're going to find out of what that's coming up. But anyway, let me get back to the last chapter about Horus. The Pharaoh is chapter 45, the PHAROH Horus. We'll see you when you come back.
Chapter 45, the PHAROH Horus.
The long-life Nephilim from Nibiru were beginning to show signs of aging. The average lifespan of an Anunnaki was about 422,000 birth years, if they had stayed on Nibiru. However, this was not the case for the ones who had remained on Earth for too long. On Nibiru, the beings that had traveled to Earth could simply partake of a liquid that would enable them to have longer lives. However, this special elixir was not readily available on Earth. The Anunnaki that had remained on Earth too long were finding their lives quickly coming to an end. Enlil, Anki and Minhersog began to plan their return to Nibiru, that they might escape their impending deaths. Their father Anu reminded the three of them that they were the formal emissary, representing their planet as a sealed tablet arrived from the king of Nibiru. This tablet was delivered to the children of Anu, stating that they were never to return to their planet. The scientists and priests had determined that their deaths would be imminent because of the duration of time spent on the new planet. The races of mankind would separate into four groups. The Caucasoids, which would become the present-day Europeans and Indians, or the Hamites and Semites. The Mongoloids, or present-day Asians and American Indians. The Australoids, the present-day Australian Aborigines, and the Negroids with the enriched melanated skin due to glazing sons of the African continent. Because of this fact, the next rulers of Egypt would now become of extreme importance to the Anunnaki. This would mean that it would be the Nephilim that would be the rulers, perhaps forevermore. The question would be, would they become kings of the earth, or the gods of it? The next pharaoh must be groomed and he must be Anunnaki. The development of Horus as a warrior came quickly, and the next stage in the life of Horus began when he had just become an adult. Horus challenges Set for the throne of Egypt. Horus and Set would compete in a series of extremely violent events. Events that seemed to display courage in the midst of death to its participants. These events would be held before an assembly of judges consisting of Egyptian deities that would ultimately decide which of the two should inherit the throne of Egypt. The Anunnaki Marduk, who as the father of Osiris and Set, was one of the first to hold the throne, was called upon to be judge, as was the god Ra, the Anunnaki Enlil, who was the originator of the throne. God would also preside as a conciliator or as an assistant to the divine judge, as Isis would of course use her magic to assist her son. The two would continue to compete for many years to come. This continued for what they say was about 80 years, in ways that for this text are not worth mentioning but rather can be easily found in others. It was said that Set still refused to relent, and the other gods were getting tired from over 80 years of fighting and challenges. Isis would often tell Horus stories of the wonderful father he once had before he was murdered not once but twice by his uncle Set. Horus was determined to avenge that death, but the deities were determined to decide the matter through non-lethal means. There were boat races and hippo fights, as many of the stories would result in the two realms divided evenly. Horus would receive the fertile lands around the Nile while Set would take the barren desert or the foreign lands that were associated with it. Ultimately all this would be decided by their father. Marduk would grant the entire realm, upper and lower, to his grandson and great-grandson of Anki, to Horus after the deities concerned had drawn even from the many years of competitions.
Subscribe and push the like button.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. So again, we are going to put an end to atheists. We're going to straighten out all of this. And in the next 2 years are going to be the most trying times in the history of mankind. Most of the wars have been fought in this world because of religion. And there's another very big one starting up right now on the very land where Jesus came from. The irony of this is amazing. And if we don't keep into consideration humanity is the only thing that matters. Because what's going to happen if humanity destroys itself, it will just have to repeat and do things over again. It's of no consequence, really. It will reboot and do as we can destroy the whole world and have to start all over. The creator of the universe has other worlds, and they're moving on, and they may be destroying themselves, but at the same time, this was the purpose of us being here. The main purpose, though, is for us to look out for spirits and be concerned about someone other than yourself. That's how you know you will be in good standing with the Creator. It's not even a matter of being in good standing with the Creator. The Creator already knows exactly what you're going to do. He knows what you're going to do. So it's up to you to just do the right thing. Love people where you can love people. Forgive people. Understand that everybody is going through their own personal mission. Now, last week, a couple of weeks ago, we had a meditation video, and that went over pretty well. Some people who weren't exposed to meditation were able to at least see what it looks like. You're going to need a lot of meditation to get through the next couple of years. When everything is stressed off and you don't know what's going on, you're going to be able to have to go within yourself to find peace. The only peace you may find is through some soft music or but you're going to have to breathe, and you're going to have to relax, and you're going to have to exist. The main purpose is you have to exist. And know that the Creator of the universe will reset everything. At the end of my book, you're going to find out He's going to reset the whole thing. The whole thing is going to be reset because of the good of people. It's something that happens when too many bad people start acting up. Ultimately, the good will take over because there's nothing left to destroy. But anyway, we filmed that right there, and then we had a bit of fun. That particular song has the vocal aspect to it, and I sang the song. And so anyway, have a little listen to the song. This title is "Love Me Too," and we hope you enjoy this. The group got together, Peaches and Priscilla, and remember, we had a shooting star video with my daughter Victoria. Well, Victoria makes her appearance there, you know, and Camille, she calls herself Millie now. Millie Sims is in the video, and in the video, I'm playing Adam with one of my former model mates, Lady Mahassan. So we're all in the video just to have fun with it, and we're going to let you see that now. And then we're going to say goodbye. And thank you guys for coming. But like I said, we're moving along. Atheism, you're going down. But you're going to appreciate it, because when you do go down, you're going to appreciate what's in store for you, what is out there for you. There is something there that cares. There is and the thing about atheism, which will make it so easy for this to occur, as soon as you feel it and understand what I'm saying, you're going to automatically feel the quantum entanglement. Just like I did. You're going to feel something pop in your head that lets you know that this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm here for. And I'm loving this. So, enjoy the song, the Love Me Too, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for coming.
On the beach in the sand, I think of you. I think of you. Did you realize I love you all my life? And when you're gone, I'm all alone. I need to know, I need to feel around me, touching me, touching you. For I am not at all I can be without you. when you're not there, and I seem to be less of me. When I go, I stand alone, wishing you come home, hoping you someday I'll build a place for us, a magic castle filled with all our love, and you will love me too, like I love you always. Love me too, love me too, love me too. Right there, right there. Love me too. Love me too. Love me too. Love me too. Love me yeah, right there. Love me too. Yeah, right there. Love me too.
Subscribe and push the like button.